Good morning. It's 5:30, Thursday, April 25th, 2024. Happy birthday, Mom. The coffee is almost ready. The sun is up. I am dressed except for the really cold weather stuff that I've got to put on because it's 34 degrees outside. Brr, I'm not looking forward to the cold. Anyway, as I said, the sun is up. I'm going to have a quick cup of coffee, finish getting dressed, and we're going to weigh anchor and start heading for the Cape Cod Canal so we can catch the current going in the correct direction. Here we go. Well, it's 8:30, and I just dropped the anchor at Abel's Ledge here at the very eastern mouth of the Cape Cod Canal. Decided to stop here to give the old tired Westabeek diesel a break. She doesn't like it when you run her too hard. She's really getting tired. The boat's ready for this electric conversion that I'm about to do. But at any rate, motoring over here today right into the eye of the wind, and with the current going in the other direction, quite a chop. The motor was really straining and working and complaining and what have you. So I decided to stop here, let her rest, and I'll take this afternoon's tide to go through the canal. Really, it's not going to put any delay into the trip because the winds are supposed to die down here within the next hour or so. And I had figured by the time I got to the other side, it was going to be calm, and I was going to have to sit there for a couple of 3 hours anyway. So thinking it over, I decided I would rather sit on anchor in the calm winds than out there wallowing around in the swell in the calm winds. So now, about 6 hours from now, we'll get up and get going again. Not quite that. Peak flow is going to be in about 5 hours. So maybe 3 or 4 hours I'll get going. And I can ride the tide all the way through the canal at peak flow or close to it. And then I can go easier on the diesel. Basically just keep it in clutch forward and at idle. Just enough to, well, at that, in calm conditions, this motor will give this boat almost 2 knots. So between the 3.5 knot current, or it's like 3.6 something knots is at peak. Between that and the couple of knots of just being in clutch forward and idle to maintain steerage way, I'll still be making 5 or 6 knots going through this canal. So it's 10 or 11 miles long. Call it 12 from here. So it shouldn't take more than a couple of hours to get through the canal. And at that point, I'll be getting through the canal just as the sun's going down, and there'll be a wind. So I can leave the canal, set sail, shut off the diesel, and not have to turn it on again until I'm in Penobscot Bay. Knock wood. That will be what we will do. So anyway, we're anchored up right now. We're gonna take advantage of the calmness in the lee here at this place, and maybe work on some photographs and do some editing and so forth. But here we are. We're waiting. We'll be here for 4 or 5 hours, and then we'll get underway again. Well, it's 8:30 in the evening. The sun has set, and it's still just a little on the bright side over there. We cleared the Cape Cod Canal into Massachusetts Bay about 15 minutes ago. Got the full main up and the jib out, and we're on a port tack in very light airs. And they're supposed to be blowing but light until, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, something like that. And then slowly they'll start to build a little bit, and we'll get a little push. But for right now, we're moving. I can't see the GPS from where I'm at right now, but we are moving. We have steerage way. We're getting a couple of knots anyway, a knot and a half, 2 knots. And it's nice having the diesel off again. It's nice and quiet. I'll be glad when I have the electric system running so that when we're motoring, it's quiet. And we just have to figure out what to do about Raymond over here yakking. He's going to be talking all night again. But anyway, we're underway. We're having a good day. It was very sporting getting the anchor up from the ledge that we anchored out right at the mouth of the canal on the other end. The wind was blowing and it was swelling, and well, as you know, there's no windlass on this boat that works, so it was all by hand and using the main halyard winch to get that thing up. And it took about 20 minutes to get the anchor up, and I only had about 60 feet of road out. So I'll be glad to have the refit of this boat this summer done. So I'll have a windlass and an electric propulsion system on board. I cannot wait. It's going to be a calm night tonight, and we're not stopping until we're in Penobscot Bay. Touch wood. Where's the wood? We're not stopping until we're in Penobscot Bay. There's nothing else in between us and that. So we're just going to be in the Gulf of Maine for as long as it takes. Here we go. This is the final leg to Penobscot Bay. Good morning. It's 6:23, Friday, the 26th of April, 2024. We had a beautiful night last night. It was on the cold side. I was all bundled up. Just took the gloves off, and I think I'm going to put them back on. Got some coffee cooking. It was a lovely sunrise. The winds went a little fluky right at sunrise, as they often do. But I just got us back on course. Close hauled under light winds, making our way towards Maine. The winds this passage are supposed to be very changeable. So I'm sure that's going to make it even more entertaining. It's a lovely morning and time for coffee. Well, it's about 2:30. We are just off of Cape Ann, Gloucester area, Massachusetts. Earlier today, we ended up, the winds had completely calmed, so we ended up heading directly to Boston to try to get a little closer to shore. According to the Windy app, it was going to be calmer offshore than it was close to land, so I decided to come this way. And the winds picked up and slowly started to clock around, so that here about half an hour ago, I was finally able to make my course for Casco Bay, which is in the Portland, Maine area. And we'll clear Cape Ann, which is where Gloucester and so forth is. We should be clear of Cape Ann within the next half hour, probably. I'll try to throw a little video of Cape Ann through the porthole here at this point, but I've been trying to stay down below because it is just absolutely frigid out. They're saying that the feel-like temperature in Gloucester right now is 41, and out here it's just absolutely frigid. All night I was wearing just about every stitch of warm clothes I had, and still wrapped up in a blanket trying to stay warm. I've been lighting off my heater every so often, but I'm trying to conserve my propane just to make sure I have some heat. Hopefully it'll warm within the next couple of days, but we are getting closer and closer to 45 north, so it's going to be chilly for a little while. It is only the 26th day of April after all. But we're making some progress. We're doing about 4 knots, about 120 miles from Penobscot Bay. So maybe if the winds hold, we might be able to make it there some point tomorrow. That sure would be nice. But we're cruising right along and trying to stay warm. It's 7:15 and the sun is gonna go down. It's been a fairly uneventful day. Winds were fairly light all morning, and this afternoon they started picking up a little bit, and we're making pretty good speed now. We're bouncing between 5 point a couple and 6 point a couple, right on our course. So hopefully this will stay this way all night. I think the forecast is calling for that, at least until sunup, or morning anyway. We keep passing by these fishing buoys out here, which bother me, especially at night. So I think I ought to dodge this one because we're gonna, well, let's see here. We will keep looking. Oh, there we go. Let's go back at it. I think we might have touched that one had I not been up to see it. Let me go back on course here now. Yeah, you know, you gotta appreciate the fishermen of the world out here making a living. Okay, we're gonna touch it if we don't do something here. But I wish they could do something that didn't require setting traps for sailboats. Yep, that one would have, we would have gone right between the buoy and its toggle, which means we probably would have snagged it. We get lucky every once in a while, and we see them. This promises to be another chilly night, so I will stay down below for a good bit of it to avoid freezing to death. I will, there we go, now we can get this thing going again. There we go. And at night it doesn't much matter anyway, because you can't see anything to tell if you're about to hit a fishing buoy or not, a lobster buoy, whatever they are. You can't see them to avoid them anyway, so it doesn't matter worrying about them. That's the first one I've had to actually dodge today, so touch wood, we'll be lucky all night as well. It's been a nice day. We've been on an even keel most of the day. Let me come back this way. There we go. We've been on an even keel most of the day, and it's been easy sailing. We're in less than a foot of sea, so maybe a foot. It's been very comfortable, very nice. I just wish it was about I don't know, 30 degrees warmer anyway. It's been in the low 40s all day. And with the wind, of course, you get the wind chill. And that makes it feel really cold. I'm in my really thick, bundled up attire. And I felt like wearing my gloves all day because my hands have been really cold. But that's life at this latitude. So anyway, the sun is about to go down. We bid it adieu. And we look forward to seeing it on the other side come morning time. Hopefully will be the other side of the approaches to Portland, the Portland traffic separation scheme. Up the northern end of Casco Bay by then. And still making way with a fair breeze. It would be nice to be in Penobscot Bay by this time tomorrow. If we can manage 4 knots on average, we might just do that. But I don't know. And once we get up there, we'll decide, do we stop in Rockland? Do we continue on north? If it's going to be nighttime when I get to Rockland, I'll probably stop. Just simply because I don't know what the lobster buoy situation is in Penobscot Bay right now. And I would much rather sail in that area in the daytime so I can avoid the snares. But for right now, we're going to go back down below, close up, maybe light the heater off for a little while and get warmed up. And settle in for the night with our nap, get up, take a watch, nap, get up, take a watch, until the sun warms us up again. So good night, and unless something happens, I'll see you in the morning. Saturday, April 27th, 10 o'clock in the morning. And we're ghosting along here at 1 knot on a broad reach on the port tack. We're 20 miles off of Portland, ghosting along, hoping the wind picks up soon. But it's a nice day, and fortunately it's warm up here in the oxygen tent, so it makes for a nice place to relax. Last night we had pretty good wind for a while, and then we were running wing and wing, and Raymond was having a hard time keeping up, so I ended up pulling the mainsail down. And then he was able to at least steer a straight course, and then after that I pretty much left the sloop to herself. Not another soul out here. So I went down below and I took a nice long 3 hours nap and got up and looked around, and still not another soul out here, so I went back to sleep. Let the sloop take care of herself. Then when I woke up this morning, still not another soul. And the winds had calmed and shifted a little, so we pulled the main back up, and the winds have continued calming, which I think they will continue to do for the next hour or two before they start building again. I expect this afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the winds will come out of the southwest and keep pushing us up towards Penobscot Bay. But for right now, it is radio theater that I'm listening to. Theater of the Mind. 11:15. And behind me there, you see Monhegan Island here at the the mouth of Penobscot Bay, southern end, southwestern end. We'll pass by within about 3 miles of Monthegan, and we're going to make our way on over to Matinicus before we turn northbound and start going up Penobscot Bay. If it was earlier in the day, I'd be on the other side of this island, making a shorter route, but it would be a little crazy to do it right now because there's a lot of little islands and ledges and lots of channels and buoys and all of that sort of thing, and who knows how many lobster pots over there. So I've decided to stay outside here. I'm about 5 hours from Matinicus. Get there around midnight or so, and then I'll have a much wider channel to go on up into Penobscot Bay. Be actually in the bay, well, just before sunup, maybe sunup. We'll see how I feel at that point, whether I'll continue on up to Belfast at the head of the bay, or whether I'll stop in Rockland and go to sleep. We'll see how I feel. The day has been mostly calm, barely making steerage way or only getting a knot or two. Here with about an hour ago, hour and a half, 2 hours ago, the winds came up and stabilized. We've got 10 knots right now out of the southwest, and we are on a broad reach under a full main and jib, and we're making about 5 knots right now. So finally we get some wind. It's at night, but at least we're going. So we'll let you know what happens. For right now, I'm going to get below because it's starting to get cold again. Sunday, April 28th, 6:25 in the morning. And we're doing something I haven't done for a long time. We're sailing up Penobscot Bay towards Belfast, Maine. We had a nice run for a little while last night. And then right around midnight, the winds just died. I was just off of Rockland Harbor. And we flailed around there for a little while. And then the wind slowly came back up, and we're running on a broad reach right now. And, make it a reach. Slowly moving along at about 3 knots. We're almost here to the Camden Hills. Coming up on Islesboro off our starboard side. Slowly cruising up the bay. We're going to go to Belfast. That's my my old home port. See if we can get a mooring for a few days until they're ready for me up in Bangor, so we can take this thing up and haul her out. A little bit of nostalgia here. It's been a long time. It's been 2011, 2012 was the last time I sailed this direction in this bay. Well, any direction, because I left in 2012. People come from all over the planet to sail Penobscot Bay. It used to be my backyard. Well, we're back. Well, it's 11:26. Just went into and turned around and came right back out of Belfast. The rule in Belfast is that if you're going to anchor in the harbor, you have to anchor outside of the mooring field, which, okay, that's perfectly acceptable, with the exception of the fact that the mooring field now is almost all the way out to the bay. So if I was to anchor outside of the mooring field, I may as well anchor in the bay. And right now the wind is blowing right up the throat of the harbor. So that means it would be an extremely rough evening, and I would not want to do anything about getting off the boat or doing anything with the dinghy or any of that. So I turned around and beat back out of the harbor, and now I'm just about to pass Searsport, and I'm going to go right on past Stockton Springs, which is where another place where I was thinking I was going to try to anchor up at or grab a mooring from. But instead I'm going to go into the Penobscot River to a cove called Fort Point Cove, which is basically a hurricane hole. It's extremely well protected, good mud bottom, good holding. I'm going to anchor there, and then hopefully tomorrow one of these harbor masters will answer their phone, and I'll be able to make arrangements of some sort for some place to tie this boat up for a little while until we can get things going up in Bangor. But for right now, we are close hauled on the starboard tack, scooting right along on the top of Penobscot Bay. I'm going to head over towards the very northern tip of Islesboro, which is a spot called Turtlehead, and then I can jibe and just run right down, or at least broad reach it right down to the mouth of the Penobscot River and in and tuck behind the Cape Jellison point right there into Fort Point Cove. And there I ought to have a good, safe evening tonight. So I'll show you what that looks like when I get there here in just a little bit. Well, it's 2 o'clock on Sunday the 28th, and we are anchored now in Fort Point Cove in the mouth of the Penobscot River at the head of Penobscot Bay, and I'm going to call this journey complete. We still need to work our way up to Bangor, where we'll holler out and do all of that type of stuff, but that's not going to happen for a couple of weeks because the marina's not even open yet. I'm here a good 2 weeks before anybody around here starts doing anything. So I am pre-season right now. So we will consider the journey complete. It was a great journey. Skookum Lady has proven herself again and again. When we get the engine issues taken care of, as in getting rid of it and putting an electric motor in, and some of her cosmetic stuff taken care of, this is going to be one heck of a nice boat. Started to go into Belfast, and it was just not going to be pretty. So I decided to come over here, and I ended up having to sail close hauled and against the current, and we've still pulled it off, getting across the head of Penobscot Bay and then down and around Fort Point and into the cove here. So pretty good. This boat will do what I asked her to do, and that's a wonderful thing. So thanks for watching this voyage. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned, because we may be showing you what we do when we start ripping things apart. See you then.